So, welcome to episode 118, and we are here to kick off 2022. I can't even say it right because it just feels wrong to say it, with a previews episode. And I am, of course, joined on this episode by
Mike Atchison
and Shad Schubert.
So we got a new year, new month, which means a new previews catalog. But even though it is a new year, we are talking about items that are generally going to be shipping in March of this year. And of course, if something sounds interesting to you, be sure to contact Mike Noe at Muddy Monster Comics. Muddy Monster Comics is located at 1422 Walnut Street in Murfreesboro, Illinois. Store hours are Tuesday to Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And if you missed the Big Buddy Monster comic, there are still a handful of issues left. And he's actually reserving some for a project that he has coming up, which I will not speak of at this time. So if you want to get your hands on a copy and not have to purchase something extra, be sure to stop in and pick one up before these issues that he has set aside are gone. So
what's this project again?
Well, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to let Mike talk about it. So he needs.
We have our ways.
That's right. So yeah. So you can talk to Mike Noe directly if you want to know what this project is. Then you just need to stop in the Muddy Monster Comics, ask Mike Noe, say, hey, what's this project here that you're going to do with the comics and something else? And he will probably tell you because, well, he likes to talk. So
he likes to talk about monster stuff. So.
He does like to talk about monster stuff. So that's his sweet spot. So there Absolutely. You have it. You know what? We probably should add into this episode, and maybe we need to do it this one as we're flipping through the catalog. But when we see Universal monster stuff, we probably should go ahead and mention it anyway, just because.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
If you notice something, because I didn't put on anything Universal Monsters, though I know I saw a creature at least on one magazine or something.
I did too.
So there's probably some, and there's been a lot of Universal Monster stuff in these catalogs.
Yeah.
But anyway, we always start with DC. We don't start with side 1 and 2 of the previous catalogs. So let's jump over to DC. And I'm just going to skip page 1 and go straight to page 2. But so if you want to talk about page 1, either of you, feel free.
I haven't been reading any of the ongoing of Batman stuff, so I'm good.
Yeah, it was weird that they put the ongoing, like as the first page of this catalog. So, well, that was kind of weird, especially since this is not Joshua Williamson's first issue on the book.
It's the conclusion of the Abyss storyline, though.
Yeah, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, my notes on this are that Batman 121, and I will admit that I decided to start picking up Batman, the title, recently because Josh Williamson was taking over the writing duties, and I really like his style. I like what he does, but I have to put my faith into his abilities to overcome any of my distaste for I know we should be used to this by now. But first of all, they have using Lex Luthor as a nemesis here, and he's wearing Batman armor. Now, I haven't read this Batman 118, which I think was the first issue that Josh wrote, but I'm already thinking, okay, I don't need to see Lex Luthor in another armor. I mean, I don't need to see him in a Batman book at all. So, we've seen it whenever he wore the Superman armor for, I bet, 2 or 3 years. He really, they used that plot device for quite a while, both Justice League and the Superman titles. So, but I kind of reserve judgment until I do some reading.
Mike, I thought it was you that talked about how Bruce Wayne, or Lex Luthor, was a good nemesis for Bruce Wayne.
You know what? I think you have a good memory. And I think if the canon was that he was a better match, an intellectual match for Bruce Wayne. But I don't remember the context of that conversation, but I do vaguely remember saying something like that. Okay. My point is they keep going to the same well
Right,
in
yeah.
villains and
And
plots.
this isn't what you were talking about, because this is more the physical versus the business mental versus the business mental.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Oh yeah, if I had to choose my favorite Lex Luthor, it would be either the scientist or the businessman, the kingpin type. Either one of those over the armor wielding.
Yeah.
I hate all aliens, and humans are Earth is for humans and no one else. That's been wore out. So, but good point.
Shad, you want to add anything on Batman before we jump into Batman?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Well, page 2. Batman Killing Time #1, and normally I would not mention just another Batman title, but written by Tom King. So Tom King returns to the Batman title. He probably should have never left to begin with, would be what I would have to say about that. They should have let him finish his run. But for whatever reason, now they're bringing back for a 6-issue series. And I don't care what it's about. It's Tom King writing Batman. I think I'm in.
It's a heist story.
Yeah.
It seems like 6 issues of a heist might be drawn out a little bit, but maybe they'll do something cool. I'm curious what they're gonna be trying to heist from Bruce Wayne. And, is it the gun that killed his parents? Is it the pearl necklace? What could it actually be that is that important that they're trying to steal from Bruce Wayne?
And I guess I probably need to finish Batman Catwoman. Or rather, I should say, I probably need to start Batman Catwoman before I read this.
Just in case.
To find out, why would Catwoman be wanting to steal from Bruce Wayne at this point?
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, that really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So, at least in my mind, it doesn't. So yeah, we got to figure out what's going on there. All right, page 4. I don't know, Mike. I think I'm going to turn page 4 over to you.
Well, thank you. I do have notes on that.
Good.
Batman/Superman, World's Finest #1 by Wade and Mora. I really can't wait for this. Honestly, just based on the creative team alone. And then they add the added sweetener of the Doom Patrol making an appearance. Maybe that's sort of a jump the shark in the very first issue, but Wade handles these characters so well. I just can't imagine it being anything but really, really good. I like also that I'm quoting here. It says it kicks off the next big events in DCU. So I'm hoping that means Wade has a hand. If we have another big event, he has a hand in it. But the absolute icing on the cake is the slap battle variants. And for anyone that knows about the old Silver Age World's Finest 153, where Batman slaps Robin, it's one of the most used comic-related memes out there in the interwebs. But you have is it Chip Zdarsky's doing those variant covers?
Yes.
Yeah, so you've got one variant where it's Batman slapping Superman, saying Batman should have top billing, and the other one is Superman slapping Batman, saying he should have top billing. Well, I happen to be in the Superman camp here. It crawls all over me that for market, and this is such a meta thing too. And I'm glad DC at least recognized people don't like that they're basically putting Batman at the forefront of any kind of team up with anyone.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm going to be a Superman guy. Anyway, I'm going to have to get that variant I'm going to get the regular issue. I'm going to get the variant with Superman slapping Batman. So
well, just know that variant's going to cost you a little bit extra.
It's 125.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going to be priced about, generally, I'd say about $50.
Yeah.
So just FYI.
So you're not into the Jerry Seinfeld variant where he's...
Yeah, I was going to...
Oh, that's great too. That is great too. Yeah.
Yeah, lots of... And it's funny that you say jump the shark, because I'm going to use that phrase later in this episode. And not very far now, so.
All right. Hey, I left my catalog upstairs. You guys go ahead. I got something on 8 and 9 to talk about, but if you have stuff before then, or even pass me up, I'll catch up.
Okay, all right. Well, Chad, it's all you then, because I have nothing on 8 and 9.
Okay. All right. On page 6, they have the Batman Beyond the White Knight, which is Sean Murphy, who seems to be building his own like Frank Miller-esque world, but like in a matter of 5 years compared to what took Frank Miller, decades to kind of make the time for. It seems like over his 3 chapters and his added stuff. But this is the third chapter in Sean Murphy's book, but then he also had the Harley Quinn story. So I guess this is maybe the fourth chapter in all of this. And this time taking a look at the Batman Beyond Batman. And it looks like it's maybe going to be Jason Todd is the Batman Beyond in this scenario from the explanation, it seems like, which I thought was an interesting angle to take instead of a Terry McGinnis to try one of the Robins, and what if they became Batman instead. So this whole what if world that he's building, I dig the art. I'm a big Sean Murphy art fan, and I read the first of the White Knight books, but I haven't kept up with it. But
I've not read any of them, so
okay.
I probably should. And I'm reading this, and it sounds to me like the Batman Beyond is going to get help from Jason Todd.
Oh, okay.
That's not that. I mean, I'm just reading it now. That's
Yeah.
how I would interpret that. But who knows? Maybe that's false information that they're trying to mislead us with.
Yeah.
So.
But they've got the Derek Powers character in this, and so it seems like they're staying pretty true. So maybe you're right. The Terry McGinnis and I think if I remember right, at least in a couple in like Futures End, there was a Jason Todd and Terry McGinnis kind of team up. So they've been known to play together depending on how timelines work. So it's possible that absolutely could be that way.
All right, I think Atchison wanted to talk about 8 and 9, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. First, I want to comment on this Batman Beyond the White Knight. Just that.
Too late. We've already talked about it.
I know you have. I'm catching up. Like I said, the first series was a normal. It wasn't any prestige or oversized format. But the last two, this one and the one before it, I think we're in the oversized format. So
okay.
I really wish they would reprint all 3 of them eventually in the oversized, because I enjoy that format, even though it plays heck with storage and sorting. But I'm definitely going to get this. On page 8 and 9, my only comments are that these painted covers are really something to draw you in. The Irvin Rodriguez does a wonderful job, but honestly, the weekly schedule at $5 a pop is probably too much, and I could probably just as well wait for it to come out on digital or get a trade or something. I don't know. I did take a peek at one at the store. The interior art looks good as well, and it's being written by Mariko Tamaki, so it's probably a good story as well. Have you guys read any of these?
Mm-mm.
I have not.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I do. I want to back up just for a second to page 6. Does that say that there are 17? No, that's an age thing. That's okay. DC started putting that little emblem on the corner to talk about variants, but that's not the variant emblem. That's the age emblem, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I was getting ready to say there can't possibly be 17.
So you're good.
Okay.
You can watch. You can read this.
I can read that.
You're
Okay.
Yeah.
I was checking. I wanted to be for sure. I wanted to get your permission. So. All right. Page 10.
All right.
Okay. All right. So I thought it was silly when they did a Batman Fortnite team,
Right.
Batman Fortnite book, but I guess I can understand it because money talks, right?
Oh yeah.
All right. So talk about jumping the shark. This may be the point where DC has gone too far. So here we have Batman teaming up with an esports team, and I think this is a true to life esports team.
Yeah, they're real. They're real.
Yeah, I don't follow esports.
I don't either.
Yeah, but so the FaZe clan. So we have Batman FaZe clan #1. It does not say if this is an ongoing. I hope to goodness this is a one shot. 5 different covers, I guess, one for each clan member plus the main cover. So Batman has to team up with esports guys to beat the Riddler. So there you have it. Fonzie on the right there. Or not jet ski. That was skis, right?
Yeah, he was skiing. Yeah.
ski, not jet skis.
So I
Yeah.
really want to know if these FaZe Clan guys are in such good shape as they're portrayed.
you wanna place a bet?
Being e-gamers, something tells me
Yeah.
they're not.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to capture lightning in a bottle twice. Like they're trying to go like, well,
Right.
Fortnite was good, but I would rather them see them pair up with another major game than to do it with real life humans like that.
Yeah, that just I don't know. It just seems really silly to me.
Yeah.
I just can't get into this. Page 12, Naomi gets season 2, 6-issue series.
Yep.
Once again, written by Brian Michael Bendis. She has a CW series coming, so they couldn't wait too much longer to get something out in print. I don't know when that series is starting, but it may even start before the first issue of this hits the stands. So it will be good for DC to have something on the shelves for somebody who might say, I like Naomi. I should go check something out on Naomi. So
Right.
Yeah. And the quality of I've liked his writing. When Bendis came over to DC, it was hit and miss for me. I liked that it was something new, and the way his dialogue was a little bit different, but I soon learned that he sort of had the same technique for a lot of different books and a lot of different people, the same voice. But I think Naomi was one of the exceptions. And then when you add Jamal Campbell, and I'm sorry, I should include David Walker is also.
I think Campbell just does the covers, right?
David F. Walker is sharing writing duties.
Oh, okay.
And he's done a lot of good stuff. But Jamal Campbell is art and cover, and
right.
Far Sector was what I think he actually did Naomi the first season as well. But I really enjoyed his stuff. The science fiction Green Lantern 12-issue series called Far Sector. He was fantastic, and I think it'll be good again. So I'll be picking this up. Hope others do.
I was a little disappointed in this series, the season 1 of Naomi. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just didn't really grab me. I read it, but it just didn't. I don't know. It wasn't super good. So
it didn't have the hook. It didn't have the hook to really make you want to come back.
Yeah.
They waited to give a little bit more of that hook in Justice League issues when she was brought into the Justice League. So, but yeah, that's just almost a tactic to get you more invested financially, and say, okay, I've bought 5 of these issues before I can even really get interested. So, but I'm still I hope that it'll turn out to be a good story and she becomes a good character.
So my next thing is not till 18.
I actually did have something on page 11. And it's only me griping again. This whole Shadow War Alpha, again, just blatant crossovers, or it's a one shot. It appears to be that you have to buy because it's continued into Batman 122. And like I said, I'm picking up Batman now. So if I want to hear or read and know what this story is about, I'm going to have to pick up this one shot as well.
Well, that one shot and Robin. And does it also go into Deathstroke Inc.? Yeah, and Deathstroke Inc.
Yes.
So this is going to be a 7-issue. I think is it going to be 7 issues or 5? Because a lot of these crossovers, they do an alpha book, 2 issues in the titles that are involved, and then they do like a final book or a prologue or whatever.
Yeah, I see a lot of 5-issue.
Yeah, so I don't know if this is going to be, you're going to have to, buy Robin the next 2 and Deathstroke the next 2, or if it's just going to be 1 each, and it's going to be 5 issues. So.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, come on. I'd rather they just come, just instead of making it, because I almost missed it. I'm like, okay, that's an extraneous title. I don't need to get it. And then I have to read where this this continues. So anyway, that's just me.
Anything else before 18?
14 and 15, more of the same. And this is and I'm not trying to be negative here, but again, I was thinking, okay, you have, these are all connected, this Trial of the Amazons, and it continues or is part of the Newbie and the Amazons, which then is continued in Wonder Woman 785, and just to me, it's just more of the shameless tactic of making you pick up more issues than what you really would have. Even if I'd rather them make it weekly. than do this. But actually,
Yeah,
though,
and
I'll probably pick all of it up. So I'm just
and Trial of the Amazons is a 1 of 2, and so is the Trial of the Amazons Wonder Girl. So you're gonna have
yeah,
at least 6 issues of it, if not more, depending on how far they take
yeah,
it.
yeah. They're killing me.
So
Just killing me.
probably 8 issues then, right? Because it'll be of course, Nubia's wrapping up. So
Oh,
you got
okay.
the last issue of Nubia and
Yep.
the Amazons, but then you got the 2 Wonder Woman, the 2 Yara Flor Wonder Girl issues, plus the 2 Shadow War issues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's weird that this Trial of the Amazons ties into the last issue of Nubia and the Amazons. I found that kind of odd.
Well, it's gonna change the world for forever, Scott. So you gotta at the end of Nubia.
I long for the days of having the triangles to show you which books were connected and what order to read them.
Ah.
It's the same way with the current run of action, that War World saga. You have to. It's a good thing I've picked up Superman in the Authority already, because that's all part of the same story.
But it's funny, the Trial of the Amazons #1 says after the events of Nubia and the Amazons, but then Trial of the Amazons, or Nubia and the Amazons #6, is part 2 of Trial of the Amazons. So chicken and egg is all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Up to 18?
18. Mike, go. I know you've been waiting
just
the whole time to talk about this one.
Oh, I love these the alternate Earths, and Earth 3 is back to being the home of the crime syndicate, where it's sort of a mirror situation where all the characters that you know as villains are the good guys, and the good guys are bad guys. And the crime syndicate is basically Earth 3's Justice League, and probably have more just more depth and character than a lot of the multiverse Earths outside of Earth 2, or the original Earth 2. But anyway, this is another crossover event, but I'm not complaining about this so much because it's just 2 issues, bookend issues with World of Worlds, our War for Earth 3, 1 and 2, and then you've got Suicide Squad and Flash. So
and thought it was Teen Titans also.
Academy.
Teen Titans. Flash,
I'm sorry, Teen Titans Academy as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that's Teen Titans Academy is the only one I'm not getting already, but I hope they had the 6-issue series, The Crime Syndicate, earlier this year, and I really liked it. So I'm hoping this is just as good. I'm thinking it's written by the same guy, Robbie Thompson, and so it's a big plug for that. I'd pick that up, and it's weekly.
My last thing in DC is on page 36. So whenever you guys get to 36, I'll talk then.
I've got on 21 the Rogues #1, which appears to be it's written by Joshua Williamson, and is a 10 years later after the Rogues Gallery has disbanded, and they are coming together for one last job. I hope that they're all old, because that just and from the cover of Captain Cold, he looks like he's aged quite a bit, maybe more than 10 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess depending on when their 10-year mark was. But I like the idea that what would a bunch of older villains do for their one last job, and I'm sure it's not going to go the way they wanted to. And 4 issues under the Black Label. So I think I'll pick this one up. It looks pretty cool. My last one's on 32.
I'm 36, I think. So.
Okay.
And I'm on 22.
Okay.
First, I want to agree with you on the Rogues. I like anything from the villain perspective, and that looks well done. I just want to mention Wonder Woman Historia, the Amazons #2. I have #1. Haven't read it yet. I did flip through it. It's got the Phil Jimenez art, so detailed, almost to the point of overwhelmingly detailed.
Nice.
But it's still good. And Gene Ha is one of my favorite artists as well. I've met him a couple times, and super nice guy. So I look forward to this issue 2 of Wonder Woman Historia, and it's outside of the other storyline, so it's a nice, just I like this whole history of different characters, or the whole universe or whatever. I like that perspective. This one from what I understand, it kind of describes how, all of the Amazons, the different tribes were basically picked or had different Greek gods and goddesses as patrons, and they weren't all necessarily worshiping the same one. So it seems really interesting with those ties back to actual Greek mythology.
Yeah, I'm hoping to. I couldn't remember if I actually ordered the first one, and I don't think I did. So I'll have to circle back around once they come out in a trade.
If you want to borrow mine, you're welcome to.
Okay.
I'm good till 33 or 34.
Okay, I'll go 32. Is Galaxy the Prettiest Star, which is a new character. The alien princess of a destroyed world is hiding out on Earth and decides she doesn't want to stay hidden anymore. The artwork was kind of what caught my eye on this. The lines, there's not a lot of border lines, outside of anything. So it's a lot of just open, or the borders are yellow of the character. So I liked how everything was handled in that, and seemed like a pretty cool all ages book that might be fun, and new character. Who knows what they'll do with that? So
yeah, it does look good. 34. Really, it's the last thing I have as well. It's just talking a little bit more about what I was saying earlier, that I've been reading the Action Comics run by Philip Kennedy Johnson, and with a few of the rotating artists. And this particular issue is the interior art is Riccardo Federici and Adriana Melo, and this is truly a saga. And I really don't just outright say, hey, you recommend that someone needs to pick something up. I don't do that too easily or too quickly, but I absolutely recommend, especially if it comes out when it comes out collected. I think you guys will enjoy it. I think other readers will enjoy it. It really gets to the heart of Superman, the character, Kal-El, the character. It's intergalactic. It brings in the United Planets. It brings in some of the Earth, some of his Earth allies. There's in Mongol. I'm telling you, that Mongol. Ever since his first appearance, I've thought this guy, he's a bad, what, and he really has that presence, that sort of dark side presence without it being dark side again. And he's actually seems more cruel than dark side. Dark side seems more scheming, but Mongol's just absolutely cruel. So I'm picking this up. I've been picking it up and will continue to. So let you know how it goes.
Well, whenever we are looking for a trade to do, you'll have to remember to recommend that.
There you go. Okay. Write that down.
That's your job. 38.
Okay.
I just wanted to ask if anybody was actually, it's not even on 38. What page is it on? It is on page 36. Has anybody started reading Dark Knights of Steel? No.
I forgot to pick it up from the very beginning, and I'll just wait till it comes out in trade.
Okay, I was just curious, so I was just wondering if anybody had been reading it yet. So that's all I had. That's it. I'm done with DC. Okay. All right, nothing on the collections for anybody's.
Nope.
Okay, then it is on to Marvel. And I only have 3 things inside of Marvel this month. So, and my first thing is not until page 14. So,
I got page 7. I don't know if anybody has anything before then. Nope. Or 5, I guess. My numbers are messed up.
I'm on 14 as well, but I think Scott said that, so I'll let him speak.
Yep. All right.
Okay. On page 7 is the first of the, I guess, collected from the Marvel Infinity books that are coming out on Marvel Unlimited, not Comixology Unlimited. They should change that name. Somebody already had an Unlimited.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to move that. So in case you don't have Marvel Unlimited, this was a decent X-Men book. I have been trying to keep up with the Infinity books, at least some of them. If you don't like the format of just kind of scrolling through, this might be a better way to do it. I'd be curious to see how they handle it in the non-scrolling kind of way, since it's kind of built for that. But I guess there are panels underneath all of that, so I don't know. I might, if I'm at a store that has it, I might flip through it just to see what it looks like since I've already read it. But yeah.
Okay.
Then I also had, let's see, what's this? Page 10 is the final Demon Days book that Peach Momoko's been doing. Blood Feud. They collect it later on, so if you've been late to the game, but this is the ending of the Demon Days saga, as they have called it, on there. It's been, I've only read the first 2 issues, but it's been a cool, kind of interesting take on the Marvel universe and how she's interpreting the characters in different ways that I enjoy. Like the Venom as the big snake and that takes over the buildings.
Mm-hmm.
And so this looks like, I guess she's teamed up with Hulk, but she just calls him the Green Giant or something like that as far as the description goes. So I'm definitely picking that up, and we'll complete the Demon Days saga. And then I'm good until later on.
All right. So, well, page 14, we have Captain Carter, number 1 of 5. And of course, this is the Captain Carter from the What If series. What if, Peggy Carter had received the super soldier formula instead of Steve Rogers? Now, I'm hearing mixed things. Is this her first appearance or not? So I just consider any Peggy Carter as Captain America to go back to that Exiles number 3 issue where she was even on the cover of that. But some people are saying this is going to be the first appearance of Captain Carter, not Peggy Carter as Captain America. So, but that being said, she's also on the cover of Avengers Forever number 1, though I don't know that she's actually in the issue. Anyway, yeah, it's going to be messy for determining the first appearance of this particular character. I like this idea of this character enough. I'm hoping that they can, now that they kind of have the unoriginal origin out of the way, that they can maybe do an original good story with this character. So I'm definitely going to be picking this up.
Absolutely. And I've never read Jamie McKelvey's work. I've seen a lot of his art, and I'd really enjoyed the stuff he did, like in Young Avengers and Wicked and Divine. And but I can't say that I've ever read the writing. So I'm interested to see what he has to do there.
It was probably my first or second favorite What If episode, so that's why I had it earmarked to talk about as well and pick up.
All right. Good to know we're all in agreement on one at least. So
that's right.
All right. My next thing's on 21. So.
All right.
18. Just mentioning. More of a question. You got Venom Lethal Protector, and the only reason I bring it up is because I once had a copy of the gold foil variant of the original Lethal Protector. Has there been more of this between then and now, or is this the first time it's come back? Do you know?
I think this would be considered volume 2 of Venom Lethal Protector, though I cannot swear to that. That would be my guess.
Okay. But for those collectors of all Venom-related things, it looks like something you might want to pick up, because that first, of course, that gold variant was really something. But I mean, even the red and the black or whatever, they also were very popular.
Well, that's more because it was just a popular character, and it was kind of his first solo story or solo series, I guess.
I see. Yeah.
I'm looking now. Yeah, this will be volume 2. There was an Absolute Carnage Lethal Protectors, but this will be the second Venom Lethal. Actually, okay, Lethal Protector is this? Yeah, Lethal Protector. So yeah, this will be volume 2, Lethal Protector.
Okay. Where'd you say you were next?
I don't remember. 18 maybe? No, 21.
Okay, that's okay. Go ahead. I did too, but I'll let you talk.
All right, Chad, you got anything for 21?
Nope, you're good.
All right, so Strange number 1. So apparently, when they talked about the series Death of Doctor Strange, they weren't kidding. So I have not read it, so I can't say for sure one way or the other. But we apparently have a new Sorcerer Supreme, and it is Clea. And Clea is a long-time on again, off again romantic interest of Doctor Strange. I think she goes back to like Strange Tales in like the 160s, maybe like 163. I have that book someplace. I'm not sure where, but I do have it. Her first appearance, and in fact, she's not even given a name, if I remember correctly, in her first appearance. But she will be assuming the duties of Sorcerer Supreme, and of course, there'll be all the jokes about Sorceress Supreme. And this also makes me think that I need to go back and pick up the last couple of issues of the Death of Doctor Strange series, because that might be the first quote unquote appearance of Clea as Sorceress Supreme. So, but this idea has me interested enough that I'm probably going to want to pick this book up. But it doesn't say if it's a. I assume it's just an ongoing until they decide it's done. Because they don't give us an issue count. So I guess as long as it's like, I guess if it's successful as Thor was when they switched to Jane Foster, it could be around for a few years. Yeah. And if the sales aren't there, then they'll switch it right back to Stephen Strange. So.
Yep.
22, we have Punisher #1, and we have not had a monthly Punisher book in quite a while. And I saw some articles that were quoting Jason Aaron, and they basically said that Marvel kind of made a deliberate decision to kind of pull Punisher from having a main title book just because of some of the controversies with the character. But now he is back. Jason Aaron is writing what appears to be an ongoing. So again, it'll be an ongoing until they decide that they're ready to cancel the book, and then it will have always been a limited series. But it is interesting that Frank Castle is going to take over as being head of the Hand. So this is going to give us a slightly different take on with Frank at the lead of the Hand. How will the Hand's actions differ from how they would have differed in the past under others' leadership? Mm-hmm. So, and I think we're also, as part of this, going to be getting a new Punisher logo.
Really?
Yes, it's going to have I'm going to say an Asian feel to it. It's going to kind of implement like some horns and stuff, I guess, for for him having taken over the Hand. So if you just search for like new Punisher logo, I don't know if you should be able to see an image of it. Well, of course not.
Yeah.
Here we go. Was it this article? Yeah. So there was an article where it's and it's not. I mean, it's still a skull, but it's like it has tusks coming out of the bottom to the teeth. The teeth are more pointed, and then it's kind of got.
It does look. Yeah.
I just say it's been given a little Asian spin. Is how I view the.
Well, the original emblem has been borrowed or stolen for a lot of law enforcement, which that's some of the controversy.
I was going to get into that. I was just going to say controversy.
right, yeah. But that's I just having come from law enforcement, that was used to whatever. And I'm not speaking one way or the other on it, but I'm just saying that's part of the controversy was the logo. So that doesn't surprise me that they're changing it somehow.
I think I view this logo change as a temporary thing. To me, it fits the story that is being told, and I assume that it will go back once this story is over. So, because we're always going to have the Netflix Punisher, so.
Yeah. It's crazy how that could be considered offensive when you've got Peacemaker and Vigilante, and I guess that series starts up here in the next week or so. But that is so over the top.
Well, it's not that series is offensive. It's just how the emblem was being used by some was.
So, right. Yeah. Still. Yeah. All right.
And that's all I have in Marvel. I don't have anything else in Marvel. So.
I just want to say Jesus Saiz is that's who's listed as on art, along with this Paul Azaceta. And Jesus Saiz is one of my favorite artists, going all the way back to Infinite Countdown or Countdown to Infinite Crisis or whatever. And then he was also the artist on the Manhunter run. And he does really good work. It's both down to earth and superhero-y all at the same time. So that's an added feature there. I actually had something way out on page 41. If you had anything before that, Chad.
Yeah, I've got a handful of just little things to mention. On page 24 is the What If Miles Morales #1, which I find just interesting that there are 2 What If Captain America series and no standalone Captain America series in this book. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's odd.
Well, we got Captain America and Iron Man.
And Iron Man, yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of like the Cap book for the month.
Okay, yeah. And then on page 90 or on 33 is the end of Amazing Spider-Man Beyond. It feels like it's gone on forever, and I'm more interested to see on what they're doing after that because I like Spider-Man, but I just wasn't digging the Beyond storyline. So it's like, okay, well maybe they'll, what's next? What kind of maybe more grounded story can they give us after something so giant as that? And then on 39 is Spider-Woman 21. But I noticed that there's a new villain group called the Anti-Arachnine, and I thought that was a clever enough name that maybe it might be something to keep an eye on. In that, is that something they'll borrow for another Spider-Man movie or a TV show? You'll see the Anti-Arachnine, and this is the first appearance of that group of villains or whatever.
What page is that on?
That's on 39. So that was just the speculative brain of mine. Mike, how far did you say you were?
41.
Okay. I think I'm good up to there.
Well, I'm going to mention this on page 40 real fast since you had said you were reading everything Demon Days. And I just noticed that in Elektra, Black, White, and Blood number 404, there is a backup story set in the world of Demon Days.
Yeah.
So if you're the completist, you need to be sure you pick that one up.
Right. Absolutely. I noticed that Peach was writing on that one, but I didn't, I guess, read that full description on that one.
And all I wanted to say about page 41 was these are the last 2 issues of the event Devil's Reign, the Chip Zdarsky written and Mark Cicchetto artist. Anyway, I'm picking it up. I actually have #1. I haven't read it yet, but still I thought it was worth a mention. Because it's Daredevil and it's on the heels of what was going on. It's sort of got some continuity to it, so I'm sort of eager to see how it works out and see where it goes from there.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
Nope. Yeah, just a couple of things. Page 52, Hulk is getting the grand design treatment that we've seen with Fantastic Four and with X-Men. I enjoyed the X-Men one. I haven't gotten around to the Fantastic Four grand design, but this one's being done by Jim Rugg, and looks like it doesn't say how many issues it's going to be, but they've all been limited to, I think, two.
Haven't they?
Two's been the regular, yeah. So I don't know. That's probably something I'll pick up. And there's a new ongoing Han Solo series on page 76. Han Solo and Chewbacca, which I'm assuming, or I'm hoping, I should say, not assuming, is going to pick us up right after the Solo movie, because I feel like there were some good beats in that movie, and since this is all canon storytelling, and it's all supposed to be still prior to A New Hope, this series is, that it would make sense to kind of bridge that gap, since I don't think that movie is ever going to, they're never going to be a sequel to Solo in movie form, so...
I thought it said, okay, it just says a few years before episode 4. Okay, I thought it actually was more specific whenever I skimmed over that. So.
Right. And I think that's it. Yep, that's it for me.
All right, big book it is. That opened up. So on page 24, of course, we have the previews catalog. You want to see all the things we don't talk about, be sure you grab your own copy. and orders are ideally due in by January 18th. You do have some time after that before you have to get those orders submitted.
I see they're advertising for Free Comic Book Day as is it May 20th? Yeah.
I was going to ask if we wanted to wait and talk about Free Comic Book Day until closer to time, or if we want to go ahead and talk about it now, since it's still, basically
we don't have to. I've just mentioned. Yeah, we don't have to bring in any details.
I'm fine with it either way.
Yeah,
because it will be this list of books will be updated. Between now and then.
There's definitely a couple I'm excited for. There's some good books this year, it seems like.
Since we're talking about it, which ones are jumping out at you, Shad?
From Image, they're doing the Bone Orchards mythos, which is Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino's new kind of horror universe that they're building over at Image. And so this is a prelude to that world that they're building out, all original storytelling kind of on that side. And then there's a Bunny Mask Tales that Aftershock is doing, which is kind of following suit with the story that the miniseries that I had read. I think we talked about it in our what we've been reading last time we did that. And this is more original story there. I think probably gearing us up for they're doing a second run of Bunny Mask. And then Clementine, which is the story of one of the characters from the Walking Dead video game, is getting her own book, and so this is her first appearance in written form. Will be, I guess, in this, because I don't think they've got anything planned ahead of that.
It does say preview material, so I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. That's something definitely to keep an eye on. Is that because you're right. I mean, that is of characters outside of the TV show or the book themselves, that's probably the most popular character.
Absolutely.
Outside of those two, so that would definitely be something to keep an eye out for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was looking at the Overstreet guide to collecting comics. They've always put out a special, and it's always interesting to see what they have to say. I also like. I'm looking at the Source Point Press, the Winchester Mystery House, the 100-Year Curse.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's gotten a lot of attention lately. So as far as free titles, and I know this will change, like you said, but as far as Free Comic Book Day stuff, those look good. What about you, Scott?
I hadn't really looked. I kind of skipped past them, so I've been kind of just flipping through them as the two of you have been talking. And I think I really feel like Shad kind of hit the highlights, because especially the first two that he mentioned, those are both original material, not reprint or preview material that you're going to get someplace else. So that's kind of what I like from the Free Comic Book Day books, are the ones that have something new. I know Free Comic Book Day book is going to make me pick up Archie. It's just not going to happen. But I might based on some something new or something that I just wouldn't pick up on a monthly basis, pick something up. So I try to grab, early on I always grabbed the Marvel and the DC books, and that was stupid. Now I try to grab the books that I don't read to see if there might be something there that I should be reading. So
yeah.
So yeah, I'm just gonna echo Shad's picks. So.
I know you're not necessarily a guy that ascribes to Overstreet guides. Way before any grading or any CGC or anything else, I used to go through those guides.
Yeah. No, Overstreet is terrific for the information. It's not so great on the pricing.
Right.
Yeah, okay. 90% of the books in the Overstreet guide are overpriced. I tell people, any book that is listed at its cover price is $1 book.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a $5 book or $1 book. If its guide said it's worth, its cover price, it's $1 book, because that's just not a book that anybody's, it is anything. And so thus 80-90% of the books pricing wise are just wrong.
Sure.
And then you have.
I definitely defer to you. If it comes to a price, I'm going to call you before I refer to. So whenever someone says, "Well, where are you getting your price?" I'm like, the Scott Reed price guide.
I just go to eBay sold listings, so even that's
Yeah. Hey, I also want to point out that Winchester Mystery House, that's original material too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
So that's worth noting that.
Yeah, I've got the first 2 issues of that in my collection, in my to-read pile, so I'll have to get that in order to complete the story.
Someday we're going to have to take a picture of who's got the tallest or the biggest to-read pile and see who's the biggest loser or the biggest winner, however you want to look at it.
I keep re-finagling it, and I'm like, well, that's not realistically in the to-read pile anymore, so just file it away.
Oh, I do the same thing. I just put away the last days of the JSA. I've had it out for, I bet, 3 years. I'm going to read this. I'm going to read this. And it keeps getting in the way. I'm like, nope, it's going back.
Yeah.
All right.
Image?
Yeah. So page 40, Astro City returns.
Yeah.
And I don't think Ash was the very first Astro City from Image. I thought it was someplace else and then went to Image.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Okay.
Gosh, dog.
Somebody
with the internet will tell us.
My trade is Vertigo of the first run.
Of Vertigo?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was Homage.
Maybe it was before then, because this is a Vertigo book right here. This is volume 1.
Okay, now I gotta go look at I have a graded copy of the first issue. Now I gotta go grab it. I'm coming right back.
All I have is a trade. I just happened to see it. I was cleaning up some stuff the other day, and I was like, oh, I filed it away.
Hey, now's when we tell that some kind of embarrassing story about Scott. That he'll have to edit out.
He doesn't listen to him, does he?
I know, that's the problem. We'd have to tell him, Scott, you need to listen to, about 42 minutes in, because you might want to edit it.
Yeah, okay, all right. So Astro City #1, Image Comics.
Yeah, okay. Sure is. I'm looking at it too.
Yeah,
wow.
There it is. So yeah, I did not realize that. I thought it was like Homage Studios or something like that, but nope.
Homage and then Wildstorm. I was thinking Wildstorm, but that was way after, back up to that was in 2004, and then Vertigo. So
okay.
So anyway, this kind of one thing that's nice about Astro City. I mean, there's quite a bit of material out there, but it's not like a ridiculous amount of material. It'd be pretty easy for somebody to go and find all the Astro City books. Not so easy to find all the Marvel books or all the DC books, right? So if you kind of want a self-contained universe, and Kurt Busiek's an excellent writer, so this would definitely be something to consider.
So and they tout it as a good jumping on point, or reinvigorating longtime fans. So yeah, that's what's got me. I've never read a single Astro City book, so I really need to do this.
I bought this first trade just to try it out, and I still haven't read it.
I read the first 2 volumes. I don't remember the first 2 volumes, but I have read the first 2 volumes. I did not dislike them. So, I liked the first one enough to keep going. So, I think I had that problem where I just didn't know where to go after the second volume. I didn't know what I should read next, and never picked it back up again. So.
Yeah. Wonder if this will play into the Image superhero universe that they're building with Radiant Black. There is a Radiant Black variant cover C, but I'm sure that's just for fun, because there's a variant cover with a homage kind of to a lot of different other series. But in a world where they're trying to build out this superhero world under Image, that's a bunch of superheroes ready to go.
Yep.
Could be. Page 42, we have Little Monsters #1. This is another new series from Jeff Lemire, and art and cover by Dustin Nguyen, who worked on Ascender and Descender as well. Looks pretty interesting, though. The art style seems a little different to me. I don't know if it's just because it's mostly black and white. I mean, it's advertised as full color, but at least the preview pages are mostly black.
That threw me off too. It's got, it highlights certain things like the sun, or underlines the name or a word, but mostly it looks black and white. And Dustin Nguyen, this doesn't really look like his work, but art evolves over time. I remember whenever he was a pretty consistent artist, and man, it was the Teen Titans, probably in the late 90s.
Oh,
but he's a great artist.
Yeah, I like his stuff a lot, and you can definitely tell like his on the cover, his style is really like there, and it definitely is him. But then, yeah, you're right. The interiors are a little different. Like he's taken a different approach to the interiors of it. Concept's cool though. What happens when you've got a bunch of vampire kids
Yeah.
but there's no adults around? It's kind of like it's like Lost Boys, but and they say Lord of the Flies. It's like Lost Boys and Lord of the Flies kind of mixed together.
Yeah, that is a good comparison.
Page 46, we have Ghost Cage #1. This is a 3-issue series. Now, I'm struggling on this one to determine if this is a new series or if this is a follow-up book for another series, because it says the highly anticipated follow-up project from critically lauded East of West artist Nick Dragata. But it says this all new extra-length limited series.
Is this his first thing after East is West?
Mm-hmm.
I think
that's
so.
what I think.
So I think this is new. This is totally new concept, totally new ideas. It just wasn't 100 wasn't completely clear to me.
Right.
Yeah, I believe it is just they mean his first work since East of West.
Okay, and that makes sense. So I just wanted to kind of get a consensus on that. So, but it looks pretty interesting.
On the other hand, is black and white. It's not color
yes.
Not listed as color and actually mostly black and white. It is black. Which puts it, other than Terry Moore, I don't know that I've consistently bought any black and white comics.
Yeah, I think I'm probably in the same boat as you are there, because other than I'm sometimes actively look for some like graphite editions of certain books that I think look a little bit better graphite, but it's mainly just Kirby stuff. So the Radiant Black universe is expanding again with Radiant Red 5-issue series. I haven't read enough of Radiant Black to know if I should be picking up Radiant Red or not. Yeah, I think Shadow, you're reading Radiant Black, aren't you?
I'm trying to keep up with it, but I'm slow at it. But I guess the Radiant Red, the character, whatever this person shows up, maybe even in the first issue of Radiant Black. But is as perceived, and maybe it's issue 2, I can't remember, but it's really early on, and is this someone else who has the same power set as our Radiant Black character does, but is like doing bank heists and stuff, and is like in the news for like, here's this criminal that has these superpowers that's doing these things. So I'm guessing this is giving us more to that, and they may have come head to head in the main Radiant Black book. Though I'm not to that point yet. So there could very well already have been something of that, and this is just a backstory, but it seems like it's actually a mom who holds down a regular job and has a family, and so then she also has grabbed these powers and was a villain, but seems like in the description maybe has turned good in the main storyline, and all of the hidden identity stuff's kind of come to head in this.
Is it a mom or is it a little kid? It looks like a little girl. Because like when you look at how tall she is compared to the car window.
Yeah, unless it says to her students. So I just thought, it says is a middle school teacher.
Oh, okay.
I think they're two different characters we're seeing here.
I think you're right, yeah.
Okay. All right. That's what was throwing me, because I just kind of skimmed. I didn't read. Yeah. I skimmed the art on these preview pages.
Unless this person has had these powers since she was a little kid. Maybe that's what we find out.
I see it's written by someone other than Kyle Higgins.
Yes,
Cherish
right.
Chen. Yeah. I've not seen any of her work before. The name doesn't ring a bell. Although the artist David LaFuente, I've heard of his name before. Yeah, it's one of those things I think I need to be forced to read for some project that we have for me to actually dive in. So, Chad, it's your turn to write down an idea for a trade or a series of trades to review.
Page 54, we have Slumber #1, and the concept behind this book is we have a nightmare hunter. So someone who goes into other people's minds while they are asleep and kills their nightmares. I guess so they can not have bad dreams any longer.
No, that seems like a nightmare in and of itself.
Yeah, so a very interesting concept. When I saw the cover, I thought, looks pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I was not really excited about the art preview for this book. So I'm not for sure where I fall on this, but it could be interesting. I'm hoping that the art that we see here on like these preview pages is just the dream art.
Yeah.
Maybe when she's in the real world, the art is a little bit, I don't know. I don't necessarily want to say better.
It's cartoonish, exaggerated.
Yeah, it's
way too Riley Rosmo for me.
Okay, yeah. So I would like to see a different style when we're not in a dream state, I guess.
Yeah. Hopefully
so
this Vanessa Cardellini, the artist on there, has some range, because you really could have a lot of fun with like each dream has its own kind of view and way that it looks, and then the real world has its own way of how it looks as well. That would be the perfect way to do it, is get somebody that's very versatile in their artwork.
Yeah, I'm looking at her. She did the B cover, and it kind of looks the same style. So maybe that may just be her style. And let's see. No, just the B cover. She didn't do the other ones. Yeah, just the B cover. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to withhold judgment on this one, but the concept I think is solid. So
sure.
59.
58. And
58?
it's just because I'm going to say this is something I won't buy. I'm like, come on, we have enough source material without having to go to the Bible and say that we have Jesus is it's Jesus's vampire hunting clone. And I'm not some self-righteous son of a gun. I'm just like, this is the reason I didn't read Second Coming either. But it's just too much. It's a bridge too far. Sorry, guys.
But it's a 6-part monthly miniseries starting on Ash Wednesday.
Oh man, that in itself ticks me off. Come on, somebody's going to at least purgatory for this.
I read a book called Jesus Freak, and in this one, Jesus was a martial artist.
Okay, yeah, I think I've heard of this one.
Yeah.
Hey, I remember as a kid, my dad was so mad about that song called the musical Jesus Christ Superstar.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he didn't know anything about the play or whatever, the musical, but the songs or the lyrics themselves, he was like, well, you quit listening to that stuff. Anyway.
Page 59, we're getting, I guess, a prologue to the end of Stillwater. So this is a one-shot book from Chip Zdarsky that's supposed to answer some questions before we go into the final story arc of Stillwater. So if you've been reading Stillwater, I read the first issue. It didn't just blow me away, so I didn't keep up with it. If somebody were to come back and tell me, oh, it got really, really good, then I wouldn't be opposed to picking it back up. But fans of Stillwater will want to track this one down.
That's another series I'd like to start over and read it all the way through. Zdarsky's just really good.
He's been hit and miss for me. Daredevil was a hit. Spider-Man Life Stories was a miss. So it's kind of been back and forth for me with Zdarsky.
Yeah. Well, who's doing Fantastic Four Life Story?
Not Zdarsky.
Is it
Higgins? I don't think Dan Slott either. That's
all right. It was more rhetorical. But I haven't read that, but I've got the trade, the Spider-Man Life Story. So
Mark Russell?
Mark Russell, huh? I'm hearing good things about that as well.
Maybe that's just the first name that popped up whenever I did a search for Fantastic Four Life Story. So
okay, that
was correct. So
all
right, my next thing's 62.
All right.
Just another series in the Reckless, Ed Brubaker, Sean and Jacob Phillips universe here. So The Ghost in You. So fans of the Brubaker Phillips books will want to grab this one as well.
I've never
There's not
picked
many.
those up before. Is that a good thing to get into?
I have not read any of these. I'm trying to remember which Brewbreaker Phillips books I have read.
Didn't we read one that was
Was
that we
Velvet?
reviewed?
Was
Oh,
Velvet?
Was it
Velvet? Okay.
Velvet? Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. So Velvet was excellent. Although I still haven't read the final volume of it. I've read the first two. So I think it's the artwork is very stylized.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's for everybody, but I like it.
Okay. I'll start with Velvet and try it out.
Yeah, Velvet for sure. I've read the first two volumes, are really really good. So
Yeah.
my next thing is 77.
I'm not till 94.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. So page 77, we have crossover number 13. I have not been reading crossover. Been trying to track down a copy of issue 2 because I do have all but of the first 6 issues. I have all but issue number 2.
Oh.
But but anyway, the solicit for crossover 13 makes it sound like it's the end of the series, but then we get this thing at the end. No, that's the solicit copy for the final issue. What issue is this? 13. Oh, ha ha. Yeah, this one is rad. I'm in this one. So apparently Donny Cates will be making his first comic book appearance in issue 13 of crossover.
He evidently
That's
killed
amazing
off
that
Scott
you're
Snyder
missing.
Oh, really?
at one point. Yeah, I heard him. He was talking. I was watching something where they were talking together, and Scott was like, "Well, Donnie killed me off in crossover, I guess." So
He did. Yeah, it's funny. You're missing issue 2. I'm missing issue 2 as well.
Oh,
I had to read it online. Yeah.
I've got it.
Oh man.
Well, hold on.
I need to
it,
complete
because
that.
it's tough. Yeah.
But this is the series I didn't realize it continued. I thought it was like just a 6-issue series, so I didn't even try to look for it anymore. Next thing you know, I'm seeing issues 8, 9, 10 being solicited. So I'm sure I'll pick it up again on digital.
I think that's it for me in Image.
Mm-hmm.
So Dark Horse.
Horse.
Speaking of Scott Snyder.
Yep. So
Yeah.
We Have Demons on page 94, which is his first comicsology book coming to print, and the first comicsology book that he had, because he's got this 8 different books that are all going to be released first on comicsology, and paired up with Greg Capullo art. This first issue, I thought, because I've already read it, was a lot of setting the stage of this girl who has a dad who's kind of gone all the time working, and as she grows up, she finds out that he dies, and she finds out that he was a demon hunter, and she pairs up with his old partner who is like this kind of ex-demon or rescued demon. He's like this big monster-y kind of guy, and she becomes a demon hunter as well. But it wasn't as action packed as it was sold. You kind of heard that it was like, this is going to be like the biggest, most action packed book, but don't expect that on issue 1 if you do pick this up. But it's good. I love Capullo artwork, and just the way that he draws faces and people he's probably one of my favorites when it comes to that, and especially eyes. He draws really good eyes.
Okay, I did not realize that this was a comicsology, and it doesn't say that anywhere in the solicit.
Yeah, so if you want to read all of this, don't pick it up here. Go.
Yeah. Okay. That's probably what I'm going to do, and I did read. A lot of times I don't read the preview pages, but this caught me enough that I did read the preview pages. Like, you're reading along, it's like, there's this little girl just kind of standing there high. She sees her dad. Like, he kind of has this weird look on his face, and he's holding an axe. You're going, oh, I don't like where this is going. And he chops off her arm, and you're like, holy smokes, what's going on? But you realize, oh, there was a reason he did this because he was crazy. There was actual need to do it here. So
yes.
It was so it's kind of a weird start, and I'm definitely gonna have to pull that off of comicsology then. So, yeah. And then 103.
Okay.
All right, so we have, let's see, I got to get there. I'm scrolling. Radio Spaceman. So 2-issue series from Mike Mignola. Apparently, he did some pencil sketches, and people really dug these pencil sketches, so they've turned it into a 2-issue book. So fans of Mignola should definitely look into this. I like his work. But as far as I haven't read a whole lot of his stuff. A few trades of Hellboy has been just about it for me. So
I can't imagine a world where you just sketch something and somebody's like, I like that. And you're like, okay, well, I'll just make a story about it and we'll just sell a couple of issues of it. Like,
I had it flagged. Yeah, I had it flagged as well. I haven't read anything by him, exclusively by him, for quite a while, and I never really have gotten into all of the Hellboy mythos. But the character reminds me of what's the character in the Greg Lemire books, Colonel Weird.
oh, uh-huh.
Jeff, oh,
the-
like from
Black Hammer.
Black Hammer,
Black
yeah.
Hammer, yeah, right. So yeah, I had it flagged as well.
I forgot on page 102, right across the way, is Count Crowley Amateur Midnight Monster Hunter, which is the follow-up series to Reluctant Midnight Monster Hunter. And this the first series was really good. I thought it was the right amount of like light and funny mixed with like, Tales from the Crypt-esque horror, and so it just had a good balance of it. The writing was really smooth, especially for Dave DeSmalchin, who is the writer, who's the actor. He's Polka Dot Man in the Suicide Squad.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And
Is
so
that
this
right?
is and this is his first book out was the first one, the Reluctant Midnight Monster Hunter, and so this is I'm definitely gonna get this because the first one was good, and this just looks like it's gonna be more of it, but now they're amateur, maybe not as reluctant anymore.
I'm gonna look into those. Yeah, I didn't realize who that was.
Yeah.
So I gotta make a note here about We Have Demons while I'm making notes too, so I don't forget.
You've already read that the first one, Shad?
Yeah.
The Reluctant.
Yeah.
Is the Crowley a reference to Mr. Crowley?
No, Count Crowley is like a late night Elvira, whatever you call those, like the late night host. Yeah, host.
horror
Thank you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just know that I remember the old Ozzy Osbourne song,
Right,
Mr.
yes.
Crowley,
Yeah, Mr. Crowley.
which
yeah.
was sort of an analog for the devil, right? Wasn't Mr.
Okay,
Crowley
yeah,
the
that's
devil?
right. I think you're right. Yeah, it's been a while since I've like thought about the lyrics to that song.
Mr. Crowley. Bow, down, down.
I don't have anything to 190.
I'm not until 214, fellas.
I got 117. We got Mother Bridge, Seeds of Change, which is a direct-to-trade book, and it's after the aftermath of a failed utopia. An exiled woman fights to reunite with her children by harnessing the mythic power that changed the planet forever. I'm not into the like trade first kind of thing. I'd rather have like a little bit of sample. At least give me some preview pages, so I can see what it looks like on the inside. But I liked that little concept, that little description in there, and the cover art looks good, and it looks like the Alita Vidal is doing the interiors as well. So, and the coloring. So whatever you get on the cover, hopefully it'll be pretty close to the inside. So might be something to check out there. 122 we have from IDW is Godzilla versus the Power Rangers, which this makes sense. This is like one of the like a team up that actually makes sense. The Power Rangers have been fighting Godzilla this entire time anyway, so why not give them like the actual like the king of the kaiju and let them fight that. So I was like, all right, that seems cool. This little preview strip of artwork next to the on the other page seems pretty cool. The Freddie Williams II artwork. But Cullen Bunn's writing it. He gets 50-50 on how that's gonna come out. But I was like, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah.
128 is Loved and Lost, a relationship trilogy by Jeffrey Brown. I've read 2 out of 3 of these books because it's actually 3 books in one. I've read 2 of them, and his just simplicity in his little like autobiography stories makes you just kind of keep on reading. You're like, this is okay, and then you get to the point where you think you might stop, and then you're like, I'll just read another page, and then you read another page, and pretty soon you've read it all. But his artwork makes you go like, oh, I could do artwork, and I can't really draw very much. So I think that's why I like it. I like to let me look at artists that maybe aren't top tier artists, because doesn't not that it makes me feel better, but it makes me go like, maybe I could draw something. Maybe I could try. But they're pretty good. So that's a collection of 608 pages of some story there.
Oh, wow. That's a lot for $30.
For $30, yeah, exactly. I think I've picked up the 2 that I read were on like Comixology on sale for $1.99 or something. So and he's not. I don't think he's trying to get rich off of his little stories there. He's probably making most of that money off of the Goodnight Darth Vader and those Star Wars books there.
You know, it sounds crazy, but what this reminds me of is the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series.
Oh, yeah.
My
it's
granddaughter,
the all grown up version.
And what's that?
I said it's just the grown up version of it.
It's the grown up version of it. Yeah, my granddaughter loves that series.
And I'm not till 192.
Okay, so 190. I'm only going to mention this because I've mentioned the first 2. We have the number 3 pack of Something is Killing the Children, the Slaughter pack. These are issues 11 through 15 with variant covers by David Mack.
How many issues is in that run, Scott? Is it?
I don't know. They say this is the final one.
Oh, okay.
These.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what that. But I don't remember how far Something's Killing Children has gotten to. So I read the first volume and didn't care for it. I'm only mentioning these because of the David Mack covers.
David Mack covers, yeah. Well, I was wondering how long would they go on with this, but I guess, like you said, this is the final.
Yeah.
At least for now.
So what that means to me, if they do the next one, it may be a different artist doing them.
Oh,
yeah. Who knows? I don't know. I can't say either way.
Gotcha. On 192 is the Jim Henson's Storyteller. A new run of those. Shapeshifters is the name of this new 4-issue series. I haven't finished up Tricksters yet, which was the last one. I think I've got the issue 4 left to go. But definitely going to get this. Covers the Celtic myth of the Children of Lur. I guess I'm not familiar with that myth, but I like how they throw in these like old mythologies and everything and kind of bring them to life in these stories, just like the Storytellers HBO show. I think it's on HBO that they did a long time ago. So those are always a good time for me. I like seeing. It's a good way to check out new artists and new writers also, because they don't just pick your top artists and writers on there. They find all kinds of people all over the place to do it. It's been good. I'm not till 265.
Okay. You got anything, Mike? I got 214.
214, just a dose of snark here. You've got the Art of the Batman without any art. The Art of the Batman hardcover being solicited, and they don't have any sample art. Cover not final, which is basically just a black cover. So sorry, just had to get rid of that annoying feeling by saying it out loud. So there you go.
Also on 214, you have the Serial Omnibus. Now, I guess was it last month they solicited the final issue of Serial? Mm-hmm. So, and I, for some reason, didn't pick this up, but now they're releasing both trade and hardcover versions of Serial. So this is something I will absolutely be reading, hopefully pretty soon.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then my next thing's not till 338.
Ooh, yeah. Let's see here. I believe I have something before then. It is on page 237. What about you, Shad?
Yeah, go ahead.
I have it marked here. It's it just caught my eye. Luckily, I wouldn't have seen it. It wasn't like they had any images that I would have recognized, because I think they have the wrong image for the solicitation. It's The Wrong Earth, Trapped on the Team Planet one shot, written by none other than Gail Simone. Cover art, Jamal Igle of Green Lantern fame and a lot of other stuff. He's a great artist. Interior arts, Bill Morrison and various, but this is the first of 5 unique one-shots building and expanding on the world of Ahoy's The Wrong Earth. And they've got the right creative team, I think, here. But if you look at the art cover, it's got Snelson.
Yeah.
So like, is that? And I look back and forth thinking, am I missing something here? But no, I think they just printed the wrong sample cover.
Because I think Snelson was advertised maybe last month. I remember seeing that image.
Yeah. So, I just want to point it out. If anybody that has been liking the Wrong Earth world in the series, which it is fantastic, by Ahoy Comics, make sure you don't get put off by that image. It's not the same. It doesn't go with that book. My next thing is on 261.
Okay, go ahead.
And that's just, again, it's issue 5 of Knighted, and it just reminds me, I didn't pick up. I talked about it, but I didn't pick up the original issues. But we talked about this. This is it's by AWA Upshot, and the premise is this guy he's a hapless bureaucrat, and he accidentally kills the city's masked vigilante, the Knight. Oops. Now he's forced to take on the mantle of that hero because the city is descending into chaos. So, and he's using the Knight's former butler / assistant to show him the ropes. So this looks like a lot of fun. And I'm like, why did I not remember to get this? It's already on issue 5. So hopefully it'll be collected, or I'll be able to get it some other way. But that's another one we could talk about. I bet it's the comparisons to Batman is pretty clear.
Yeah.
I'm good till 296.
Okay. On 265 is Stargirl, but without your vowels, because you don't need vowels. So it's just Sturger. But I read this description, which is a cosmic organization known as Stargirl, no longer exists, as violent galactic forces pose a threat to the integrity of the galaxy as a whole. Someone has to step up to save the humanity. Enter the Moon Gang. I didn't like this description. It didn't sound like anything I'd be interested in. But it's for fans of Paper Girls, Saga, and Wicked and Divine, which I read and loved all of those. So maybe I'm missing something, or they didn't do a great job with this description. I like the colors. The colors seem really cool on the preview page. So
very magenta.
Yes. I may pick this up or see, I don't know, if it goes on sale digitally, maybe I'll read it digitally. But I'm like, how could the description be something I'm not interested in at all? But what it tells me fans of, I should be. I don't get it, but
yeah,
we'll see.
They know what they're doing.
It's
Yes,
called marketing.
That's right. Yeah, good point. I'm not till 285.
I'm talking 338, so.
Okay. On 285 is Leonard Cohen on a Wire, which is a telling of Leonard Cohen's life, the musician, and it's through his last night, which was his last show, and he has flashbacks similar to kind of, I imagine, how like the movie Walk the Line was for Johnny Cash, except for that wasn't his last night alive, but kind of heading into a show and kind of retelling his history. So, and musician stuff I kind of flocked towards. So seeing that, I was like, oh, maybe that would be something to pick up for sure.
Back on 283, we said we were going to mention whenever we came across Universal Monsters stuff. So I did see from Creepy Classics Monster Bash magazine number 45, which features on the cover the creature.
Yeah.
There it is.
So there it is. I knew I saw some creature stuff in here.
I'm on 296.
Okay.
Two things. I think I originally marked this because they had at the bottom of that page, they're soliciting Science Comics Birds of Prey. And this is the kind of thing I would have picked up as a kid, or would have loved if, I'm sure it would have had to be a lot cheaper for my parents to get it for me. But it's basically an actual science book that teaches kids about different birds of prey, like falcons and hawks and eagles and all that stuff. And whenever I see stuff like that, I don't know how successful I am in getting my granddaughters tuned in on that kind of stuff, but it makes me want to buy it, and I probably will.
I figured you would have bought that and said, "There's no black canary in here. This is
what a
what's
ripoff.
wrong? This is a comic book. It's Birds of Prey.
Where's
no black
Oracle?
Canary."
Oh. And the other was American-born Chinese graphic novel by Jean Luen Yang. It's I think this has been out for a while now, but he's an award winner. I'm not going to get all the way into the solicitation, but especially when it comes to Asian characters, I think you're really, really well rewarded by picking up anything by him. So American-born Chinese. He's the writer and artist and does cover art.
I got to jump back to 292. You sometimes in this catalog, because there's so much stuff in it, that you end up with some books that are solicited on the same page that should not be solicited on the same page, because they're just definitely not for the same audience. So here we have from Fantagraphics, we have Walt Disney, Uncle Scrooge, and Donald Duck volumes 1, 2, and 3, which is like most of apparently the Don. Oh no, 1, 2, and 4. I don't know where number 3 is, but also solicited on this page, you have a hardcover called Porn Basket and another softcover book called The Clitoris, about a woman who gets a tattoo, ends up getting pregnant. So, they should have separated these pages.
Yeah, this doesn't match. They should have put, I don't know, it doesn't.
You don't want to show this to your 6-year-old. Say, hey, you want these Uncle Scrooge books?
Hey, Hey, Mom, Dad, what's clitoris? What is that? Yeah. Oh my God. Very good point, though. I remember seeing that and going, what the heck?
Well, they shouldn't be on the same page. They need to.
No, that's what I mean. Yeah, there's plenty of pages. Well, not plenty. There's a few pages they probably fit on better than this.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Fantagraphics they have 3 pages of solicits in here.
Mm-hmm.
That being the last one. They could have
squeezed that in on a different page.
Yeah, probably.
So yeah, I'm still. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about this one. I wasn't going to, but I don't. I just came to the page. So page 308.
Okay.
We've got from Humanoids Asphalt Blues, and they show some of the intro art. Now, I immediately thought Blade Runner as I was looking at the art for this, and it is set like a few years into the future. A cinematic thriller for fans of Danish filmmaker Nicholas Winding Refn. But yeah, 2038. So it kind of has that same amount of time into the future that Blade Runner was whenever it initially came out. So I don't know. I'm going to think about this one. So let me just leave it at that. A lot of the European humanoid books, anytime I've tried them, they just haven't really grabbed me for some reason. Maybe I'm just not sophisticated enough for them.
We got 317.
Okay, you're still before me.
Okay. On 317, they're doing a Dune, the official movie graphic novel hardcover, which is odd because just 3 months ago they came out with part 1 of the Dune graphic novel, not the movie, not the official movie version, but the true to the book. I'm assuming a little bit more from Abram Comics Arts, which I bought that one. I won't be probably buying this one.
Me neither. Yeah, if you're going to have to pick between those two based on the book or based on the movie, get the one on the book.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
On that note, I tried to watch the Dune movie on HBO Max, and apparently they only aired it for 30 days after it's released in the theaters,
Yeah.
and they won't release or put it back on HBO Max until I think the 11th of January when it comes out on Blu-ray.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's
So,
like
yeah, I
2
was
days.
Yeah, I know, but I was sitting down. My wife was at work, and I'm like, oh, this is my time to watch Dune. Nope. So I ended up watching Young Justice. It wasn't a total loss.
There you go. So
Eternals comes out on the 12th on Disney Plus. I'm excited for that because I didn't get to see that in theaters.
Oh. We'll just go in knowing it's a decent Justice League movie. So.
All right. I got 319 also. Nottingham Volume 1, Death and Taxes trade, which this might have been collected before. I don't know. It says new printing. But this was a book that I wanted to pick up when it was originally out, but I never did. I don't know why, but I don't know. Maybe I thought it was just a little too like medieval times, but it's essentially a Robin Hood is a serial killer that is killing the tax collectors, and the sheriff of Nottingham is like the detective trying to figure out who the killer is. And I thought, well, that's a take on the Robin Hood story for sure.
What page is that on?
It's on 319.
Okay, I'm backing up. I got to back up. I got to see that. So.
But the helmet is just kind of is bloody, and it has like the mouth shield of it is like a big smile, and so the artwork kind of had caught me. And
okay, Nottingham. Okay.
Yeah, so I never even knew what it was about. I was like, well, I just thought the cover was interesting, and then I read it when we were prepping for this, and I was like, okay, I definitely need to pick this up because a Robin Hood that is a serial killer is kind of a weird way.
So I guess the question is this just being told from the perspective of the sheriff of Nottingham, how he looks on the situation differently?
Yeah, could be, absolutely.
Or if Robin Hood is actually a serial killer. So
I don't. Yeah, I guess if there's blood being spilled, because I don't remember blood being spilt in the original, like anybody dying. But yeah, so I'm gonna have to check that out now that it's collected.
Yeah, 336 is my next thing.
I got
338. Sorry,
I got 330.
Go ahead.
From Oni Press is Silk Hills, which is a story of missing persons in kind of a mountain town, the Appalachian town in kind of Kentucky, it sounds like, where they have like Mothman store, like they sell Mothman memorabilia, and just kind of it reminds me of probably any town off the beaten path where we live could be this town where there's just like backwoodsy, and so somebody's going to kind of investigate this missing person, and has to go to this town to find out more. And I was like, this could be anywhere in Southern Illinois, probably. Also,
you mean like Murfreesboro, where they have all the Muddy Monster stuff?
Could be that. Absolutely. Yeah, there's even a store with a creature. You got it.
Have you driven through Rockwood yet?
Gosh, I feel it. Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
yes.
right here by. Yeah. Okay. The hills of Rockwood. Yeah. I mean, it's. They could have set the movie of Deliverance there.
Yes.
Hey, anytime I'm driving someplace and it gets to be a little bit too rural for me, I always tell my wife, if I hear banjos, I'm turning around. So. All right, I'm on 338.
I got 351.
Okay, so 338 got a couple things here. From Super Genius, they have Only Living Boy Omnibus graphic novel. I mentioned this because I met Steve Ellis at Gen Con a few years ago.
Yeah.
Super nice guy. He helped redesign Red Guardian for one of the stories for one of those series later on. Whenever he told me the premise for this, I was kind of like, oh, it sounds like Commandi, and he was a little bit offended by that. But still, anytime you have the only living boy or the last living, he
has no right to be offended by that.
I don't think he says it's not really like Commandi, but okay, so whatever. But anyway, I just wanted to mention this because I do actually have this, so I don't know if it's a resolicit, but I bought this several years ago directly from Steve Ellis.
Gotcha. I'm marking this because I almost bought it before. Well, I almost went looking for it before, and because I've listened to a couple podcasts where this was advertised. Okay. There's also an Only Living Girl comic series. And I don't know which came first, but the ad, I mean, the little promo in the podcast really made it sound great. David Gallagher actually was, I think the podcast he was on was the Fire and Water Network, and he was actually a guest co-host, where since he had written a couple Green Lantern stories back in the 90s, and so he was kind of given his perspective on a particular Justice League issue.
Okay.
But yeah, so now I'm marking it. It's time for me to get this, and then I figure we're gonna get the only living girl
Later on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then also on 338, we have Toy Ventures Magazine #1. And again, we got a definite Frankenstein on the cover. And it looks like this is the reviewing all of those parachute toys. So the toys that had little parachutes that you threw up in the air and the parachute would open, they'd land back on the ground.
Gosh.
So
I remember those.
So there were apparently was super monsters. So there you go.
I like Golden Age stuff too, and I know I didn't mark this to talk about, but since we're on it, but on page 339, Fight Comics. It featured. This is a 1942 series. It was called
Senorita Rio.
Yeah, Senorita Rio, and it definitely has that. The cover has that good girl look. But what really caught my eye is
Would you call that a headlight cover, Mike?
I would say that's definitely a headlight cover, yeah. And so it's created by Nick Cardy, who I didn't know until reading this. His real name was Nick Viscardi, and he later changed it to Nick Cardy. Basically anglicized it or whatever. He must have been an Italian guy or something. But but it's $30. 184 pages. It might be worth picking up. I like this old timey stuff. Consider it marked.
I don't have anything else actually on into side 1 or on side 2, so I'm just flipping through. So whatever you guys have, go ahead, and if I find something, I'll just mention it.
Okay.
I'm only going to say this on 367. Because if I don't mention Tomorrows, you always say, "Hey, Mike, what about Tomorrows?" There is
I'm
no.
glad you're catching up.
Yeah, there is no alter ego issue solicited, but there is a back issue number 35, and it's the Silver issue, and of course, starring the most famous Silver character in comics, the Silver Surfer. He's the headline, and then they've got Silver Heel, Silver Sable, Silver Banshee. And some more.
Skip Silver Star.
They don't say Silver Star, but
oh yes, they do. Reread that solicit.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, Jack Kirby Silver Star. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I skipped right over it. Sorry. But yeah, I really just need to subscribe to Back Issue and Alter Ego, and maybe get because I love that kind of stuff, and yeah, I'm afraid though if I started getting them all the time, I wouldn't have time to read comics.
No, because you probably wouldn't have time to get through all the magazines, let alone
exactly
the comics as well. So,
right.
Dude, I have probably 2 bankers boxes full of comics fandom magazines.
Back on 351 is the what's it called? It's called #1, but it is the comic shop owner. It's a job. It isn't a job. It's a calling. Holy cow! Did I mess that up? But it's just a comic book history and a story about comic book ownership, comic book shop ownership, and just a little one shot about that. And I thought, well, that would be something just fun to pick up and maybe fun to have in a comic book store. Have Mike did. I know he doesn't necessarily have a bunch of new books, but that would be. Well, it's like, hey, here's the calling of the comic book shop owner in there, but it might be something I'll grab just for a fun little read.
Yeah, it's just a $4 book, 32 pages, yeah.
Yeah. And then on 386 is my last one on this side is 1 bourbon, 1 scotch, 1 beer, 3 tales of John Lee Hooker. And I thought that was a cool way to approach it. It sounds like there's going to be just 3 different tales about his history and his kind of his time as a musician and his life and what better way to do it than with his famous song 1 bourbon, 1 scotch, 1 beer.
And it's written by Kyle Baker.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
And that's it for me on this side.
That's it for me on both sides as well. So,
Yeah. So I'm just
Shad,
then
it's all
you
yours.
finish it out here, Shad, because
Oh, boy.
if I find something, I'll chime in. But
I have kind of like Mike when I look at this stuff. I just have a couple snarky comments sometimes, and that's I like just see something like, well, I got to say something about it. On the other side, page 13 are these Nightmare Before Christmas Jack Skellington action figures that are totally opposable. But how in the world are they standing up? Those things look impossible to actually like. There's no way, and it doesn't unless they've got some sort of bottom to them that you attach them to. They look very. I mean, they look cool, but they look very silly as far as like being able to actually use them for anything but keep them in the box.
there's not enough of a base there for them to stand upon.
Yeah.
Oh, tiny
My
tiny
granddaughter
feet.
loves that movie too.
Yeah.
We watched it on Christmas Eve,
Nice.
which I'm like, yeah, it's not for me, but she liked it.
Yes. And then on page 32 is there's a Star Wars vintage collection with the Navarro Cantina playset from The Mandalorian. And more than anything, I just love the packaging that it looks like the old Star Wars toys. And they're really like honing in on that. And it's like with a property that would have never seen the light of day with this vintage packaging gets that treatment. And I just think that's pretty cool. It'd be more of I don't think I would want to take it out of the box. I'd want to just display the box more than anything. And last but not least, on page 69 is a action figure of Carrie Kelly Robin. Anytime there's a Carrie Kelly Robin action figure, I always have to point it out because it's my favorite Robin for sure. So
Yeah.
And on the other page, you can get both of them. You can get Batman and Robin action figures there.
There weren't
They just
any.
don't
Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, I'm just gonna say they don't. I always look through the back part of the book, and there's just nothing that really. There's very little that calls to me, if anything. And I always wonder where there just isn't much in the way of statues that come out anymore. Now maybe, and in the ones that do, they're really priced high, but I just don't see a whole lot. And is it me, or is that market just declining, or is it just come out very infrequently?
I think a lot of it has to do with it's a limited, like the nice statues are limited runs, and I think for the most part those are being sold direct as opposed through something like Diamond.
Okay.
Would be my guess. I know that Mike in the past has talked about on statue purchases that he most time can get them cheaper from just buy them direct than he can buy. And the thing is that anybody can do it. I mean, anybody can just go direct to whoever who is I can't remember who the big statue company is right now, but they can go direct to them and get the same price that he could get ordering, and then he'd have to mark it up whatever. They could go buy it for retail price, and he'd have to sell it for over retail price. So short of like some of these, I don't know, some of the plastic ones, there's just not a whole lot,
Yeah.
And it seems like the anime statues are getting more and more every month. There's just
and I don't
over
even
that
really
side of the
look at
catalog.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like that's one of the things that's just like and that's the stuff that I just skip. I have skip the manga section, skip all the anime, stuff that's in the book. It just doesn't. No matter how many times I've tried, just can't get it. There weren't any T-shirts in this.
I noticed the same thing.
Okay, yeah, that's usually like if I'm gonna have something from the back part, it's gonna be like the T-shirts. They're usually at the end of the first side.
The manga side, yeah, that's what I even looked. I was like, well, maybe they moved them and they didn't have them at all.
I guess I will go ahead and mention one game, and this is not a game that I remember enjoying a lot. But there's a lot of people have a lot of nostalgia for this game, called Hero Quest. And they have, not only do they have what appears to be the base game solicited here, they have a Hero Quest Hero Collection Commander of the Guardian Knights pack. So it looks like an expansion for the Hero Quest board game. And Yeah, that's definitely. I think that's it for me. So I finally make it to the last couple of pages, which are just ads. All right, and as I sit here and stare at my paper, I realize that I haven't marked books for me to talk about. So, how did you guys do? Did you guys do better than me on marking investment picks or what you're looking forward to?
Maybe.
Okay, well then, Chad, what are you looking forward to out of this catalog?
Looking forward to. I'm definitely looking forward to the Little Monsters book from Image, the Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen book. I think that I like that team. Anytime Lemire's doing something, I'm paying attention to it. So I'm definitely excited for that number one on that one. And I thought I marked another one, but I can't find it anywhere. So I must.
Well, if you think of it, just let us know.
Okay.
Mike, what are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to World's Finest number 1.
I could have picked that.
I figure so. I'm very predictable. Investment pick, it's probably not a great investment, but you never know. Naomi season 2, since the show's coming out here in a minute.
Well, shouldn't you pick Naomi season 1 then?
Well, that's old though.
That's old.
Still. Don't criticize my picks. You don't have to follow them.
Okay. Well, you see, I kind of try to order multiples, anything that we pick as an investment pick, just in case, and I don't think I'm going to order any of those.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see anything else in here that jumped out at me. I did see something back in the Image or Dark Horse or something. It was a Netflix series, but I can't even remember what it was. Anyway.
Well, I'm going to go with, I got a couple that I think I'm looking forward to, and I'm probably going to put these on my pull list, are Captain Carter and Punisher. I'm definitely, going back with the Hand, back to the early days of Daredevil. I've always enjoyed the Hand as an organization, no matter who's been at the head. So this could be an interesting take on the Hand. And then, of course, Peggy Carter is from the MCU. They've kind of brought that character into the Marvel Cinematic, and she actually was pretty recently in the most recent Captain America run as well. So I think I'm definitely looking forward to those 2 books, and they will definitely go on my pull list. Shad, you got a investment pick?
Yeah, I've got a couple. One that I'm sure is expected is the Radiant Red number 1. It's just like, okay, there's another number 1 in this Image universe. So if anything happens, all of it happens. All of them kind of probably mean something there. So that's no surprise. And then I'm kind of in the same boat as the season 2 with Mike on the Naomi is the Count Crowley Amateur Midnight Monster Hunter number 1 isn't the number 1 of the whole series, but I know for certain because I follow Kevin Smith, and I know that he and Dave DeSmulchin have been pitching a project together. And so could this be the project that they're pitching is this Count Crowley for something for TV or movie? I don't know. It's just a speculation just based on that. And so knowing that that's a project that DeSmulchin's connected to, that's just a thought that could be a potential there.
Okay. It makes me want to go back and pick up the Count Crowley Reluctant one.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I'm surprised you didn't pick this one, which was Little Monsters number 1, especially since Jeff Lemire kind of has his, a bunch of his work is, in production someplace.
Yes, right.
So yeah, it's that to me is kind of like the obvious one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still on the fence about this Slumber number 1. The idea I think is great, but I'm just thrown by the artwork. But then again, the pitch to some company is not going to be, this just you could do this. We can change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously, it won't look that stylized whenever it's filmed. So either of those 2, I think, would be definite possibilities. So.
Yeah, especially if it's in a world where Sandman's coming out this year on Netflix, so the dream world is going to potentially become very interesting to the whole overall media.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I think that's going to wrap up another issue of the Campus Comics Cast with previews. Shad, if somebody wants to, get some additional information about Count Crawley, how would they pull that from you?
Yeah, hit me up on Facebook or Instagram. It's at Shad Schubert, ShaadSchubert.
And Mike, if somebody wanted to, get a hold of you and tell you what a fantastic job you did on that other podcast, then how would they do that?
You did do really good. I've listened to all of them actually now. I've caught up on all my daily Rios that you were on.
Oh my goodness! Oh, well, you guys you're my only really peers in this that I know personally. So I was very skittish about even telling you about it. So, I don't have that great alliterative name of Shad Schubert. I have Mike Atchison. So my email is m.atchison90@gmail.com. And I love talking comics, but I'm old-fashioned in that way. I don't get on Twitter. I don't do it on Facebook. I do on Facebook a little bit.
So send him a letter. Mail him a letter. Give him snail mail.
Mail me an old-fashioned letter. Yeah, that's right. There you go. Snail mail.
And I'm Scott Reed. You can find me at burgcomics.com, burgcomics.com. And I had hoped that you would be able to see me in Carbondale next weekend at Slooky, but that has been postponed until April 16th. So I'm not even for sure when my first show is going to be this year. It may not be till April 2nd. So I'll try to get that figured out. But again, if you go to my website, you can find links to Instagram and eBay and Facebook where I sell. And of course, I also buy comics. So, all right, that's going to do it for another episode, and we will be back soon.
Yeah, now I gotta go look up this Count Crowley. I gotta. It's Crowley. I think it's pronounced Crowley. Okay, yeah, I'm just wrong. When I only hear the Ozzy song, Mr. Crowley. Yeah.